So I have a new client inside my Lean for Life program, and she just sent me a text message freaking out over a cheat meal that she had had, thinking that she'd ruined her progress. She was also feeling embarrassed, and she was worried that as her trainer and coach, I was going to be judging her. And one, I am never judging. I am always and unconditionally on your side. Two, I am also personally on my own health and fitness journey, as we all always will be. And so I 100% get it. I can completely relate, never judging. Three, she didn't ruin anything. And in this video, I'm going to break it down. So just because we overeat doesn't necessarily mean that you've ruined your progress. I want you to think about it like this. You can't eat one salad and lose weight, right? So you can't eat one cheat meal and suddenly gain weight. I want you to learn how weight gain actually works. You have to eat 3,500 calories above your maintenance to gain just 1 pound of fat. 1 pound. I want you to let that sink in. You have to eat 3,500 calories above your maintenance to gain just 1 pound. So when you think about it, most of my clients are maintaining their weight at around 2,000 to 2,500 calories a day. So in order to ruin your progress, you would need to eat 5,500 to 6,000 calories just to gain 1 pound. So if you didn't do that, then you have permission, take it from me, you have permission to let it go. Let it go. Don't freak out. You got to carry on and keep going. It's not hard to keep going. We make it harder because we spend so much time in our own heads doubting ourselves, doubting this process, judging ourselves. That's the hard part, is we're hanging out with a version of ourselves in our head that's just constantly beating ourselves up. We have to stop it. Losing weight is a process. This is a skill that a lot of women are having to figure out how to actually eat and exercise and the healthy habits that they need to do consistently over a period of time to create change. This is a journey. Lean into the journey. If you got one flat car tire, would you go slash the remaining 3 tires? No, it's crazy pants. You would just put air, like it sucks, but you'd put air back in the tire and you'd move on. It's the same thing when it comes to your diet, your nutrition, your meal plan. If you want to be someone who actually loses weight, you successfully reach your health and fitness goals this year, you have got to learn how to stop quitting, stop giving up on yourself. Notice how I didn't say you got to learn how to be perfect. You got to learn how to be consistent. Most people will hire me and they come to learn that they've been trying to solve for the wrong thing. Okay, hear me out. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal isn't to never cheat and never go off, never fall down. It's to stop staying down. I want you to consider this. It's okay to go off of your plan sometimes. It's not okay to stay off of your plan. When I speak with my clients about what they really want when it comes to their dream body, their dream life, no one wants to be perfect all of the time. We want to be able to sometimes have the extra drink if we want, or to indulge in the dessert. It's okay. It's okay when you do that some of the time. Okay. What you do most of the time is what's going to matter, right? Some of the time it doesn't matter. Like, let me give you an example. If you're somebody who eats 4 meals a day, in 28 days, that's 112 meals. I can assure you that 1, 2, 3, 4 cheat meals doesn't matter when you've done a great job with the other 110 plus meals. Do you see that? Does that make sense? So we have to be really thinking big picture here. And the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be making progress, to be getting at least 1% better each and every day. We're not aiming for perfection. We're trying to aim for improvement. And how can we make better decisions one day at a time? I congratulated my client when I spoke with her about her cheat meal and what she ate. It could have been worse. She could have eaten way more than that and done this whole back-to-back cheat meals and just going off the rails, but she didn't do that. So we're always doing better than we think. And this actually is progress for her, even though she's had this one cheat meal. She decided to stop. She decided to reach out to me to have a conversation about it. She's already winning and making progress. So if you're somebody who's watching this and this is resonating with you, I want you to really consider that the goal is to start doing things differently today to get yourself different results. And if you right now have had a case of the fuckets and been cheating on your diet, consider shortening the gap, shortening the time that you would normally be off and beating yourself up and continuing to cheat and indulge and carrying on. And instead, hit pause, hit reset. Decide right now that you're done pouting and complaining about this. You're not giving up. You're committed to your goal no matter what. Notice what we do. We marry the plan instead of the goal. So when the plan doesn't go accordingly, then we're like, oh, well, it's not working. Stop marrying the plan. Plans are meant to change. Sometimes we're not going to stick to the plan, but it's a good thing that your plan, it's not set in stone. It's a preference. We create plans to give our future self a hand, but when we're living in the moment, sometimes we're just doing the best we can, reacting with what we've got. And so right now is your invitation. You are being tested right now. How badly do you really want your goal? You say you want weight loss. Everybody says they want it, but action speaks louder than words. So buck up. Hit reset right now and let's carry on. Go and drink your water. Go on a walk around the block. Go and handle your shit right here. Let it out. Do what you've got to do. But then we're deciding how, Leah, how do we just carry on? You just decide. It's a decision. I'm carrying on. I'm committed to my goal no matter what. So we're going to keep going. And I promise you, a year from now, this cheat meal will not matter. You won't even remember it. But what you will remember is who you had to become to stay focused in this moment and committed to your goal no matter what, right? And that's what's really powerful here. So my client, she was freaking out. She messaged me that she'd eaten dessert off of her plan and she was so mad at herself and her husband. She said that she should have been more strict. And I want to talk about this because this right here is why women will invest in coaching and working with me as my clients. Because if my client was still doing this on her own, she would be stuck in the same spiral that she's always been in, where set goal, create plan, go off plan, beat up ourselves, and then quit. Restart on Monday, and then that goes over, right? Around and around. And this is the cycle where we're wondering why we keep losing and regaining the same 5 pounds. So my goal as a coach helping my clients is to help them get off of that hamster wheel and exponentially speed up how quickly they get results. Because having me as her coach is a literal game changer, because in the past, she would have done the same thing. Had the plan, eaten something off of the plan, told herself that she'd ruined her progress, then give up on the whole weekend. And by her being inside my program and having access to me and coaching and conversations and these strategies and tools that I'm teaching, I can now talk her off of the ledge. I can offer her validation because she deserves to be validated and seen through this experience, and offering her coaching and insight that is a literal game changer. So I want to share with you specifically how I coached her and what I shared with her. So first, like I said, validating her feelings, right? Like she is upset and frustrated, and rightfully so. Like I see her and I understand. I too was on my weight loss journey. I too am still on my health and fitness, prioritizing my goals, my self-care, my needs, all of the things. And so it makes sense that when we have goals for ourselves and then we fall short, that then we feel this way. So it was important that I let her know that I understand and that I see her and that I am not judging. This is an unconditionally loving and respectful space that she gets to feel safe in. And then I pointed out to her, like, of course we're feeling this way because you're a good person. You actually care about your goals. And this work, this investment in yourself actually means something and it matters. So it's actually a good thing that she's upset. It's a good thing. If you cheated right now in your plan and you're feeling upset, I want you to lean into, it's a good thing that I'm upset because I actually care. Can you imagine if she was like, I don't care. Like, it's fine, whatever. It's like, well, wait, like we have to talk about this. Like you have these goals and we're here to implement on the plan and have a level of accountability and conversation around this. So we know that she's serious about this. In her mind, even though she had that unplanned meal and that dessert, she's still serious about it because she didn't eat more. She didn't binge over it. She caught herself. She reeled it in. She messaged with me. She's doing the things to be proactive instead of reactive. So I celebrated her for that. 2 is there's a valuable learning opportunity here. Do you see it? As a coach, as a mindset coach, I am less concerned about what she ate. So I'm a nutritionist and we're going to get to that. But I'm less concerned about what she ate. And I'm more so how she's treating herself in these moments. Sometimes we fall down because there's something there that we're meant to find. So, what if all of this, the cheat meal, is showing you the relationship that you actually have with yourself? And how in these moments, the dessert, eating the dessert is the invitation where can you sometimes go off plan, but learn to radically love and support yourself regardless. Because notice what we do. We can be motivated and loving ourselves when we're doing all of the things and it's feeling good and we're checking off boxes and we're perfect. But then notice what happens the moment that we're not perfect, we become assholes to ourselves. We're judging ourselves. We are so mean to ourselves in our own head. We make a mistake and we speak to ourselves so unkindly in our own head. You would never speak to your daughter that way. If your child, if your sister, if your friend made a mistake, would you speak to them and degrade them the way that you speak to yourself sometimes? And that right there is the learning opportunity. How ongoing, if and when you make a mistake, I like to call them mistakes because sometimes these things must happen in order for you to actually become aware and see of what's going on to then make that shift. And so the real lesson here and opportunity is, can you learn to stop hating yourself, to like yourself, to love yourself in these moments because you're deserving and worthy of that even when you make mistakes. That is so important. The third thing that I coached her on was to look and observe the opinion and the story that you were telling yourself about the meal, about what happened. I can't do this. Something is wrong with me. I'm so stupid. I'm so gross. I'm so fat. I'm so ugly. We say all of these horrible things to ourselves. And we tell ourselves that we failed. But let's actually look at the facts. Let's look at the facts. Let's drop the story that causes us a lot of pain. And notice how our feelings drive our actions. So when we're feeling in pain like that and we're judging ourselves, are you then taking the actions to take care of yourself and carry on your journey? No. We're hurting ourselves and we're so frustrated that then as a byproduct of that, we're giving up on ourselves. So it's stemming from how we're thinking and feeling. And can we pause that story and actually start thinking the facts, being more neutral and curious, having compassion, but more curious about our meals, our nutrition, and what's going on for us. Let's actually look at the facts. Like, let's look at this cheat meal. And this is what I did with my client, which is why this is so life-changing. When I asked her, tell me about the cheat meal. What did you guys eat for dessert? Which, by the way, huge lover of dessert. Me and my husband, we always, after date night, have a dessert. You can eat dessert guilt-free. You're not ruining your progress just because you're eating something sweet and something that tastes good. Like, we are allowed to enjoy our meals. We are allowed to eat foods that we actually enjoy while we're on our weight loss journey. And you can make progress even while eating these types of foods. So when I asked her what it was that they had for dessert, like what was this cheat meal, she shared with me that they had an ice cream cookie. Okay, so if we look up in MyFitnessPal or any type of food tracking app, we assume that that cookie was 800 calories. So we'll just split it, 400 each, right? You want to know what's crazy is before working with me, she would have eaten something like that and then just given up. and given up for the week or the rest of the month, like, I can't do this. See, I'm somebody who, eats off of my plan and then I go ahead and ruin my progress. And how many of you are doing the same thing and you're keeping yourself stuck? She hires me so that we can actually go through this process of learning and understanding the facts. And I shared with her, look, your maintenance calories are 2,300. Now, this is me speaking to her. Everybody's calorie maintenance, your cut calories, your nutrition plan, your goals are going to be different and individualized to you. But for this particular client, she maintains at 2,300 calories. So I said, okay, your current maintenance is 2,300 calories. We've put you in a cut season because her goal is to drop body fat to get lean and toned. So right now, her goal, what we have her calculated at, is 1,729. That's her daily calorie goal. Her maintenance is 2,300. Right here, 1,729 is what she needs to be eating every day to stay consistent with our timeline that she will reach her goal weight by X period. This is the timeline. This is the game plan. So if you add 400 calories to 1,729, are you seeing where I'm going with this? 400 calories added to 1,729 is 2,200 calories. We're still, or 2,100 calories. We're still, I'm not doing math right now, but we're still in a deficit. Even with her eating a cheat meal, eating a cookie ice cream, she's still in a gap. She's still on trend to be losing weight. So she's still in a deficit. So when I pointed that out to her, it's like here she had been beating herself up in her own head because we only know what we know. Like, this is why you hire a coach. You can't see the back of your own head. So you know what you know, and you're like, oh my God, I've ruined my progress. I'm doing all of this wrong. And I pointed out to her, you're doing it right. I was actually grateful, and I pointed this out to her. What a beautiful opportunity for you to have this happen so that we could actually have this conversation. Her and I went back and forth for 30 minutes on this. It was so powerful and profound. At the end of it, she was thanking me and actually thanking herself and her husband that she'd had this meal because of this up level that our conversation had brought and all of the learnings and the teaching. And even this, like, now I'm able to come here and share this with all of you. Like, I'm so grateful for her that she was so vulnerable and open in sharing with me so that we could have that conversation to help her growth, not only physically, but mentally, and then also to be able to share this. So what I pointed out to her was, you log into MyFitnessPal and you plug in that cookie and it shows that you've gone over in your daily calories. It's in red. And you make that mean, oh my God, like, I've ruined it, I've blown it. But you got to think about the context. You got to think about the big picture. She's still under her maintenance. So she's still successfully in a cut. And it actually is still working. Her only job is to now carry on. The way that you guarantee it stops working is you quit. You give up. So you got to carry on and keep going. I also let her know that it is okay. She has permission to some days eat to her maintenance. Like, that's what her body is actually used to. For the last 5 years, she said that she wasn't really doing anything when it came to fitness. She was kind of maintaining, but more so gaining weight and kind of just like in this phase of not really like losing weight and being healthy, but just kind of, so her body is actually used to eating the 2,300 calories, sometimes even more. So some days it's okay for her to eat at her maintenance. Like, not every single day needs to be about fat loss. You're not doing it wrong just because you're not eating in your deficit calories. Like, some days you have permission, especially during that time of the month, where you just want to have one day where you give yourself permission to not be so fat loss, weight loss focused. And like, for one day, I'm going to give myself this extra meal and know that I'm not blowing the bank. I'm not blowing the budget because I'm eating at my maintenance, which means I'm maintaining my weight for the day. And that's okay. Not everything has to be about weight. There are other non-scale victories that we can focus on, like our energy, our mood, how our clothes are fitting, our lifts, our strength, right? Our workouts, our performance, our endurance, all of these other things. And sometimes we need that boost in fuel to actually help us for longevity, stay on track longer. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But I also told her, I said, look, we have to really embrace this mindset of memories over macros. Like, I really want a lot of women to think about that, because for so many of us, we're just obsessed over macros and the numbers, and we're doing that at the sacrifice of our life. You've really got to take a step back and like, what are your goals? Is your goal like eye to eye? Like, you tell me, is your goal really like to hit your macros 24/7, 365? Like, is that the life that you want? I personally do not. And if that is who you are, then yeah, my program probably isn't the best for you. Like, we do things imperfectly here. We are focusing on a life that we actually enjoy, and that's realistic, and that's sustainable. And that means that it can be messy. We could take messy action and still get results. You don't have to be perfect and on point all of the time in order for it to work. We have to really let go of that black and white. I teach my clients how to let go of the all or nothing perfectionist mindset, because we have this, it's limiting us. It's holding us back, where we think we need to be doing all of the things and doing them perfectly. And if we do one thing off of the plan, then it's completely off. And we're just either all in or all out. And we can succeed. It is possible. I personally lost 45 pounds, and I did that while I was trying to heal from binge eating. I was still having cheat meals. I was still binge eating, but I kept going. I carried on. I didn't make one meal turn into a cheat weekend, into a cheat week. Like, I learned from every instance that was happening, and just trying to take one day at a time and looking at this like a process and a journey, where this is the best investment of my time. The time is going to pass anyway. So learning about this and figuring this out, and we're learning skills here as we are losing weight and then focusing on weight management, which is the eventual goal. But we have to be willing to be beginners. Hear that, because a lot of people are expecting to go from beginner to expert overnight, and it's just an unrealistic expectation. We're like trying to be perfect as if we're not allowed to fail. But what if there's no such thing as failing? What if you look at your failures as feedback? It's just feedback. It's just information. You're either winning or you're learning. And when you fall down, stop quitting. Imagine if a child learning to walk would fall down and then go, well, walking isn't for me. Just not going to do it. Like, no, they get up and they try again. They have this resilience. Like, you've got to have the same resilience. You have to learn in these instances. Like, what if it's fine sometimes to eat the dessert with your husband, or to have the extra drink? You get to make that mean what you want it to mean. Be more supportive of yourself. Ask yourself, what worked? What didn't work? What am I going to do differently tomorrow? And take that responsibility for yourself to keep like showing up and doing the work, because you can. The worst thing you could do for yourself, the worst thing you could do for your progress, is make it mean that you are a failure and that you've like lost it all. Like, you've ruined it, when you haven't. I promise you are not a failure. I even encourage my clients like to stop, like, your verbiage matters, how you talk matters. So don't even call it a cheat meal. It's food. It's a meal. The words cheat meal can actually be really triggering. I had a cheat meal. How does that make you feel? Bad, as if I've done something bad. Now I'm bad. Oh, may as well go do more bad things. Let's speak more in neutral terms. Let's be more factual. I ate food, 800 calories, 2,000 calories. Now what? So what? Right? What do you want to make it mean? You can decide you're a failure, or you can decide you're the best fucking thing ever. It's crazy for you to think that you can do this, and it's crazy for you to think that you can't do this. Which crazy do you choose? That's up to you. I think perfection is so overrated. It's such a drag. It's so much pressure. It's so awful. Like, we just got to learn how to have more fun, be more scrappy. Like, again, take more messy action. Be willing to take messy action, not perfect action. B- effort can still get you A+ results. Really let that sink in. And also let it sink in that nobody is walking around anymore handing out gold stars. Like, we're trying to do everything perfectly as if like the teachers are coming around and like grading us, but they're not anymore. Like, you're an adult and you're doing this for you. Hand out your own gold stars, and you can give yourself gold stars when you're pulling C's. I want you to consider how freeing that is for some people, right? I want to leave you with this, because this is such a powerful thing that I share with my clients. It's so good. So when I was studying for my personal training and nutrition coaching certifications, we tested different groups and we ran case studies of populations that had weight loss as a goal. And one of the focus groups They both had been consistently eating in a deficit. So they were both on track for weight loss, and they were exercising and doing the things. And one of the groups was encouraged to eat one meal that was more calorie dense, so a cheat meal. They had to, the key was you had that one meal and then you had to then get back on track. You had to then be consistent for the following 2 weeks. And this is what was so fascinating about the case study. The group that had the cheat meal, there were two groups, group that had cheat meal, group that didn't. The group that had the cheat meal, although within 72 hours saw a spike in the scale, so scale weight did go up, which, I mean, of course it's going to go up. But remember, there's a difference between weight gain and fat gain. So it's only if you eat 3,500 calories above your maintenance do you gain fat. If and when we eat more calories, or even if you don't, you could be doing things perfectly to a T and the scale can still go up. Why? Because we're not robots. We are human beings and our weight is meant to fluctuate. Sometimes we're just holding on to more water, or we have sodium retention, muscle inflammation. It's hormonal. It's that time of the month. Like, you have to get used to the scale fluctuating. That's not a problem. This particular group, within 72 hours, we knew that the scale would go up. But here's what's so amazing. Because they had that cheat meal, checking in, talking about mindset and how they were feeling, they were then able to get back on track more smoothly and actually wanted to go back to their regular eating and back on track, because that cheat meal gave them like that little oomph. Like, sometimes you just need that little fuel for the soul to then say, okay, I tickled my itch and now I'm ready to get back to it and carry on. What's fascinating is that group that had the cheat meal actually dropped more weight after the 72 hours and being consistent on their plan for 2 weeks than the other test group did, because that cheat meal not only boosted their metabolism and their digestion, which means their rate of calorie burn increased. Wild, I know. But then they were able to be more strict and diligent and consistent on their plan after the 2 weeks because they had that cheat meal than the group A, who was having little bites and licks and nibbles off of their plan because they didn't allow for themselves to have that one cheat meal. Does that make sense? So it's incredible to see that you can still make progress. You can actually make even more progress after having a cheat meal, not only because physically you've boosted digestion, metabolism, you've given yourself more energy. You can actually put that food to use, fuel your workouts. These people were showing up to their workouts able to lift higher volume, perform better, which overall improves their calorie burn, all of the things. So they actually saw a benefit because of that one cheat meal. And I just think that that's so empowering, because how many of us are having one meal off of our damn plan and then we're just so mean to ourselves and throwing in the towel? And this video, I hope, has given you permission to see that you are not a failure. You're not doing anything wrong sometimes by having one meal off of your plan. Welcome to being a human being. You're doing it right. The goal is to keep carrying on, staying committed to your goals and believing in yourself. That's really what this is about. Our bodies are so much smarter than we give it credit. And your body is hearing everything your mind is thinking. So for heaven's sake, stop being an asshole to yourself. Instead, admire what your body is doing. It is working really hard. I know that you want fast weight loss, but do you? You actually want fat loss, and you want permanent weight loss. You want this to stay off. You want to make this your lifestyle. And so give your body some time to actually figure this out. You can't walk 10 miles into a forest and expect to get out in 5 miles, right? So you're capable of change. I fully believe in you to be able to do this. You're 100% capable of doing this. If I can lose 45 pounds, if my clients can lose weight and stop binge eating and have these incredible physical, mental, emotional, spiritual changes, they're leveling up their lives in a way that they didn't know was possible. And I'm not something special in helping my clients. They've had this brilliance in them all along. I'm just here holding the space and guiding them to remember their own genius and remember that they are capable in doing this and that they can figure this out. And so if this is you, I believe in you. You can do this. This is a topic that I'm really passionate about. And if you have any questions, please comment. You can send me a DM, find me on Instagram, Leah. What is my handle? @Leah Nutritionist_Kin. If you want me to carry on talking about this, talking about cheat meals, I teach my clients about this. I talk about it inside my Lean Like Leah, Lean for Life programs, where we talk about calorie cycling and even just understanding our own bodies and how we burn calories and the different ways in which we can eat and fuel ourselves. There's so many ways to do this. And if you've been struggling, maybe consider that there's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't found the way for you and your body in this season of your life. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm Leah Kin. I'm your online personal trainer and nutrition coach, and I am here to say, I believe in you and you're pretty. Okay, bye.